going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I am beyond excited to actually be doing my first LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens set review. And for the first video, I've got the Millennium Falcon, and the set number for this one is 75105. The recommended ages are 9 through 14, and it has a piece count of 1,329, while the price point is $149.99. So, guys, this is happening. The Force Awakens sets are out. It's Force Friday. Force Friday at midnight at my Toys R Us was insane, and I found out that people are like vultures sometimes when they're after the same thing. And I cannot believe this is happening, like I said, and I'm just so excited. And I'm going to be cranking out one review a day. It's going to be this review today, and then probably Poe Dameron's X-Wing tomorrow, or possibly Kylo Ren's shuttle tomorrow. Haven't really decided the full lineup yet, but I'm going to be doing my best to crank out these reviews as fast as possible, because honestly, I want to just get through them so I can get back to enjoying the hype for the movie. So this is awesome. Our new iteration of the Millennium Falcon. Is it worth the $150? Yes and no, but I'll get into all the reasons just as to why. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so to kick this off, we've got the best minifigure of the set, the main character pretty much of Star Wars The Force Awakens from what we understand so far, and he's also exclusive to this set, and this set alone, we've got Finn, and Finn is a really awesome but simplistic minifigure. LEGO, I really think they did a great job. I mean, one thing LEGO has nailed with The Force Awakens is the minifigures are likenesses to the actors. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Han Solo. I'll get to that in a little bit, but Finn here looks just like John Boyega. LEGO did a great job with the face. I love the positioning of the eyebrows, and the mouth is just perfect. It's a really great looking face, and I was really impressed with it. And to give you a look at the alternative facial expression, if we just pull off the super awesome hairpiece, which I'll talk about in just a second as well, and I give you a look at the alternative facial expression, you can see that the alternative one is really awesome, having a more concerned face, and also looking just like John Boyega, you know, transferred onto a LEGO minifigure's head. But yeah, so the hairpiece is completely new. This is a completely new hairpiece introduced for the Force Awakens line, and it is really, really awesome. I can already see all the useful, like all the useful things that you'll be able to find with this hairpiece, all the things you'll be able to do with it. It's really exciting to finally, start seeing some new hairpieces show up with the Force Awakens sets, and it's like perfectly sized, and LEGO did like a great job. I mean, it just really tops off the minifigure, and I'm so glad LEGO was able to make a new hairpiece for Finn, and can't wait to see what, how and when they start to abuse this hairpiece for like God knows how many minifigures to come. But the jacket is really awesome. I mean, the design is fairly simple, but it's accurate, of course. If you've seen the trailers of him on Jakku and everything, you can see the back of the torso, very simplistic as well, but once again, very accurate. Blank legs, which was a little disappointing, I think, because if you guys know, like the Death Star Trooper legs from last year, I was kind of hoping that they would have used these maybe to give him a little bit more detail, but they didn't, and they're just blank. But I mean, if you look at Finn, he does just wear basic black pants, so I mean, that's totally understandable, and I'm really not complaining. He's got a standard blaster, and also no lightsaber. That's worth noting, because we do know now after D23 and that teaser that was put up on Star Wars Instagram, he does have a lightsaber in the movie, and he does not have it in this set though, so I guess maybe as a way of LEGO trying not to give away spoilers themselves by not giving Finn a lightsaber. So I mean, no lightsaber with Finn, but that's okay because you have one already. Next up, we've got Rey, and Rey, being the new female lead of the sequel trilogy, is portrayed just as well as Finn, and she is a really great minifigure, practically without error, and you can see that she does actually have a new hairpiece as well, and this is exactly just like Rey's hairstyle in the movie, the exact same hairstyle that Daisy Ridley is sporting in the movie, and that looks amazing. This entire new hairpiece, which I doubt LEGO will be able to find any other use for, but it looks great on this minifigure, and I'm so glad LEGO was able to produce that. And then we also have the face having just the same, like just the likeness for these Force Awakens minifigures, Han Solo excluded, are amazing, and this face looks just like Daisy Ridley. Absolutely love the design. I think it's awesome. And if we go ahead and flip this around, you can see that we do have the alternative facial expression, and it's like LEGO just did such a great job on these minifigures, especially their heads, that it's great to know that I won't be really painting a lot of heads for my Force Awakens showcase at the end of the year, because LEGO just did such a great job on these. And then we also have her torso as well, and you can see that the torso, I mean, obviously, like all minifigures that have bell printing, does suffer from the separation thing, but that's okay. I think I'm pretty much over it at this point. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to change, but you can see the like design of it all. It looks great. The same, you know, can be said for the legs, and you know, the continuation of her robes going all the way down there, and the clothes that she wears, and you know, very like it really captures the whole like scavenger type look for Rey. If we go ahead and remove her hairpiece real quick as well to give you a better look at the back of the torso, you can see that there as well. But then we also have her blaster, and this is the first time I'm getting to talk about the newly colored blasters. I mean, we all have these blasters, but I mean, this is the first time we're getting these weapons now in a silver like chrome color, and this is really great because you also not just get this pistol in this color now, but also you do get these blasters. Now, you don't get this one with this set. This is actually Captain Phasma's. I just pulled that off of, but it's great to have this color now for these blasters, and honestly, it brings me back to my like early days of YouTube when I used to Sharpie blasters this color. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for Rey, an absolutely amazing minifigure alongside Finn. And finally, the debut. I really shouldn't say finally, this is not the last minifigure, but we do have the debut of BB-8, our new droid, Rey's new droid, and I apologize for any background noise, by the way. Of course, there has to be like a freaking tornado outside when I want to do my Millennium Falcon review, but LEGO really did a great job on BB-8. I think like everything about this is great. I mean, these are entirely new parts that they've used for him, and this actually breaks up into two separate pieces. It's basically like a tiny version of the astromech droids, and they're like the 2x2 dome pieces that we've all come to love for the astromech droids over the years. And yeah, so it breaks up into these two sections here, and great, you know, these two new parts are great and work perfectly for BB-8 because obviously they're designed to be him. One thing I know a lot of you guys do not like is the little like stud that's showing on the bottom, but I mean, personally, it doesn't bother me as much as I think it might bother some of you guys. But you can see that we do have printing on all four sides of this entire dome, like his entire like body piece, and then the printing wraps all the way around the main dome. I mean, this is fantastic. I probably won't, I'm not even sure what I will be painting onto this when the time comes for the showcase video at the end of the year, because LEGO just did such a good job on the majority of these minifigures. But yeah, there's BB-8. He doesn't roll, of course, but you can buy like that Sphero thing that's very apparently available at Best Buy if you want something that's that actually, you know, rolls like BB-8. But anyway, this is fantastic, along with numerous other Force Awakens minifigures in the line. Han Solo. Let me just say, before I talk about the face, I think the torso is great, I think the legs are great, and I absolutely think the design is awesome for both of those two elements. And the jacket, I mean, I didn't know his jacket was dark brown, but I guess it is. So I mean, I mean, this entire torso is fantastic. Love the design on this and the legs, but I do have to mention the face. And this is probably the one head out of all the new actors and all the new printed heads of the Force Awakens line. This is the only one that I really don't like. If we go ahead and remove the hairpiece here, LEGO just made him look too old. I feel like maybe if like there were maybe just like if the eyebrows were like, okay, that's Thunder. If the eyebrows were gray, then maybe it would have been a little bit better. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like LEGO just made him look a little bit too old. Harrison Ford's in his 70s and they made him look like he's 80 or 90. I mean, it's just, I feel like they made him look a little too old, and then the mouth just looks really awkward, and I do not like the design of the mouth there at all. But if we go ahead and turn the face around, you can see we do have an alternative facial expression, which I think is a little bit better, and the smile obviously kind of sort of mimicking the Chewie "We're home" scene that we see in the second trailer. So I mean, that's really cool, but still he looks a little too old, and I think dark gray eyebrows would have looked a little bit better than the light gray that LEGO used. But it's still a really awesome minifigure besides that, and it's more of a nitpick than anything. It's still a great minifigure, and like I said, me being a customizer, it's probably only going to be me who has a problem with it, but it still looks pretty good for the most part. But yeah, there's our new Han Solo for The Force Awakens. Chewbacca. This minifigure is exactly the same as the one we've had since 2014. There is pretty much no difference, and I was a little bit disappointed because, to be completely honest, when I got this Chewbacca the first time last year, I thought it was pretty good. But I mean, now I just feel like the dark brown is just not the right color for Chewie, and I don't really like the printing, like for the teeth and the mouth area in general. It's just, it's okay. It's just, I was kind of hoping LEGO would maybe attempt to redo it a little bit, but unfortunately they just stuck with the exact same Chewbacca that we've had since 2014. And I mean, it's okay, and I totally see why they wouldn't have remade it, because it is effective for the most part. It's just a little bit strange looking around the face, I found. And the dark brown I can live with. It's just I was really hoping for maybe, you know, a new print on the face, but that didn't exactly happen, obviously. So, I mean, like I said, it's okay. It's just I was never really too fond of this design, you know, after having looked at it for a while. So, I mean, yeah, but you can see we do have the leg printing as well, the same fur design, having that back, and that's pretty cool, I guess. And then you also have like the silver for the, you know, the rest of the strap printed on the back there as well. But this is what we need to talk about. This is an entirely new bowcaster. This is a stud shooting bowcaster. This is now a thing. I mean, this is an entirely new piece, and it's like an entirely new stud shooter, and it's really cool. And I mean, it's great for playability, and it's just sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get the stud in place, but it fires the same way as any other stud shooter. You just push down on the lever, and then it fires out. But yeah, it's different than the majority of stud shooters though, because usually you know, you put the stud in just like this, and then you know that's how you know, stud shooters usually work, but the stud for Chewbacca's bowcaster here just slides in place just like that. So it's definitely an interesting design, and just as effective as any other stud shooter. But yeah, very interesting and totally understandable why LEGO would have made this. But I mean, obviously the majority of us, I'm sure, would have preferred, you know, the bowcaster that we've had for, you know, all these years already. But I mean, if you have one lying around, it's really not that big of a deal. So I mean, yeah, this doesn't come with the set though. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for Chewbacca. There's no difference aside from this new bowcaster, which is definitely great for playability. For the first of two minifigures that no one really cares about, we've got Tsu Leech, who is pretty much just Tomas from The Walking Dead Season 3, but you can see in the minifigure, I guess we'll start with the torso. The torso is very simplistic, but still fairly detailed for the most part. I really like the belt that you can see down toward the bottom of the torso there, the buckle and everything, looks really cool, and he even has some brown printing on his black legs there, which is pretty sweet as well, nice added detail. He's got a one of LEGO's flintlock pistols, which is kind of hilarious looking. I mean, I'm assuming the actual weapon he'll have in the movie will look different than that, but LEGO, I guess, just had to shoehorn that in. But you can see we do have a black Qui-Gon hairpiece for this minifigure, which is definitely pretty interesting and cool to see that in that color. But if we go ahead and remove it real quick, you can see the back of the torso having many more straps and buckles on the back there, and you know, the continuation of the utility belt. But this is where things start to get really Tomas heavy from The Walking Dead Season 3, because I mean, the face is like exactly the same if you look at it there. It is the likeness is like uncanny, and if we go ahead and turn it around though, you can see we do have the more aggressive facial expression, which is definitely pretty cool as well. No idea who this character is or what he's about or what kind of gang he leads on Jakku, if he even leads it at all, but it's still a pretty cool minifigure nonetheless. Now, I'm not actually going to try to even pronounce what gang apparently Tsu Leech is the leader of or a part of, but this is one of the general like gang members slash like minion henchman type, and that's what this minifigure is, and he actually has a pretty great deal of printing to him and a really detailed design, as you can tell by the torso right off the bat, and the torso design looks really awesome. No idea what it actually looks like in the movie, but from what LEGO portrays it as here, it looks really, really cool, and the same can be said for the legs. You can see he's got like a strap there, and apparently something like laced onto that strap, which is pretty awesome. Looks like a bottle of some kind, and LEGO just really packed a lot into this design. It's pretty sweet looking, and if we go ahead and take his hat off, by the way, which you guys have seen before, I'm sure it's one of those like swimmer hats that was used in like the collectible minifigure series, for instance. We can go ahead and see the actual like face here. He's got like something like some kind of, I don't know, cloth over his eye, which is interesting. He's got the same type of mustache that Tsu Leech has, and it's pretty interesting looking. And you see the back of the torso also pretty detailed, and the back has like a little pouch on the straps there, and really interesting design work, like with these like little swirls and all those little things in the middle of all that. It's pretty cool looking. Very curious to see what it's going to look like in the movie when these guys go after Rey, I'm guessing, because they are apparently, like I said, a gang on Jakku. But you can see that this rifle is a musket, and they've got this I don't know why. I mean, I guess LEGO, they've already made too many new printed heads and too many new elements already for the Force Awakens set, so that's why we're getting these older guns. But this one here, this minifigure has a musket, so that's pretty interesting. But aside from all that, guys, that is it for the minifigures of the Millennium Falcon. It's a really great assortment, and yeah, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the build itself. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to the Falcon itself. Let me just say right now, I know a lot of you guys seem to be thinking that it's like smaller than previous iterations. It's not. It's about the same size. I don't have my other one to compare, but I was just packing up the last version recently when I was moving, so I remember how big it was, and this is about the same size, and it pretty much brings over a lot of the same generic concepts of your Millennium Falcon, and it's very similar in concept to the one we had back in like 2011 or 2012, whatever year that was. So I mean, it's definitely great though, and obviously completely necessary, 100% necessary to have it. It's just for people that have the previous Millennium Falcon, to be completely honest, in terms of the Falcon itself, you're not missing out on a lot if you don't get this set. You're only missing out on the exclusive Finn figure and the exclusive Han Solo, and I guess the like pirates or the gang members if you really care. But I mean, yeah, the lineup of minifigures for this set is amazing. Granted, I mean, it would have been great to have like 3PO, R2, and like just a whole gang. But unfortunately, obviously, LEGO wants you to buy the other sets, so this is what we get for this set and this set alone. So of course you've got your main character Finn only in the biggest and most expensive set, because that's LEGO for you. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get on to the actual Falcon itself. So we're gonna go over like the exterior details first, and so we've got like the ball jointed radar dish here, which is pretty awesome. It's very articulated, and that is a sticker right there. So definitely pretty awesome to have that back, but not much else to say about it. And then back here we've got like the main gun, and this can rotate a full 360 degrees, and it's pretty sweet. And right there you can see that is also a sticker like right underneath it, or I guess, yeah, basically right underneath it. And yeah, if we move on though toward the back here, you can see we've got all these ventilation discs, and all of these, they're all stickers. I mean, every single one. So I mean, that's perfectly fine, and totally expected, to be completely honest. And when speaking of more ventilation, we've got these pieces here and here, these two discs, and here, all three of those are stickers. And then there are 4 stickers in total right here for all these details. And then on the cockpit itself, you've got a pretty much entirely printed cockpit piece right here, and the same goes for the actual like 4x4 disc that's on the front of it. But inside though is where you have the sticker, because if you remove the cockpit, you can see that you do have a control panel in there, which is completely a sticker with the control stick, of course. And I guess while we have the cockpit open, we might as well put the minifigures inside. And the way you see the minifigures inside the Falcon is very basic, in the same way you do it for like same way we've done it for all Millennium Falcons. You pretty much just put your minifigures, you just try to stuff the 2 of them in there, and they fit just like so. So you've got Han in there and Rey piloting the Falcon. But I mean, it's very basic. You've got a very limited amount of space, of course. The set isn't to scale, obviously, so you can't fit all the characters you would obviously want to into the cockpit, unless this was a UCS Falcon. And if you want to pay like God knows however much that's going for now, then have at it on eBay. But I should point out, this is also a sticker right here next to these ventilation pieces right there, for some added detail, which is always nice. And the exterior of it is really awesome. It all opens up the same way, which I'll get into in just a second. But yeah, speaking of the sticker that I pointed out right here underneath the gun, there is a sticker right here as well, for like 1/2 of the disc, which is pretty awesome, and just great for some more added detail. And then you've also got like the engines in the back there, you know, represented with the same tube that we've seen before. So that's pretty awesome. Then the landing gear you can see down here, pretty much exactly the same to what we had in previous iterations of the Falcon. It does not fold up or anything, but it still looks pretty cool. And if you do not want it there, you can remove it very easily. So the landing gear is very basic, but very effective. And then also, I should point out that obviously there is the second gun right down here, which can rotate a full 360 degrees. It's pretty much a mirrored version of what you see on the top, just on the bottom of the Falcon. So I mean, it's definitely pretty awesome though, and great for playability. So yeah, there's that. And then you've also got on the top here spring-loaded shooters, and this is the first time a Millennium Falcon has had spring-loaded shooters, but you can see them right on the sides there, right? You can see them there, and then it's symmetrically on the other side here. And so basically the way that works is you can see those little like slots that you can push in, and so pretty much you just, you know, apply some pressure, and then the spring-loaded shooters go firing out through the spring-loaded shooter launchers themselves. And so basically the way that works is to give you an idea. And there you go. So that goes for the other one too, of course, and so you get the idea. Very effective, and definitely this set's #1 playability feature, obviously, because they're the main guns that you're supposed to fire, and the rest are pretty much just for show. And I should point out there are no like stud shooters on this set either, and so it's really just these 2 spring-loaded shooters, and just the rest of the guns that you see like on the top and the bottom for playability in terms of like, you know, like weaponry that the Millennium Falcon has. But yeah, like I've already mentioned, this Falcon obviously being incredibly similar to previous versions versions, iterations of Millennium Falcons. I mean, obviously it's not the same 100% in terms of its design, but in terms of like base functionality and base concept, it's exactly the same. But yeah, so folding up open all the flaps is exactly the same, and it all works like this. They all come up individually, and it's very effective, obviously, for accessing the interior that the Millennium Falcon has to offer. And yeah, so this all folds open, as you can see, the exact way that I am doing it here, and you pretty much have a full accessibility to the interior of the Millennium Falcon. So there's a lot going on in the interior for the Falcon this time around. I think this is probably the most detailed interior we've had for a Falcon so far. To be honest, I don't remember the previous Falcon well enough, and it's bubble wrapped and packed away in storage, so unfortunately I cannot make the comparison for you guys. But yeah, so I guess we'll just start off with the number one, like the best part of the interior if we spin this whole thing around. And you can see right here that we've got the gaming area. I totally forget what the actual game itself is called. I used to know. But what's really interesting about it is I thought that it might be a sticker or something lame, but this entire piece is actually a black Captain America shield that Lego printed this on and then attached to a clip. So I thought that's pretty awesome and very cool, and just a really nice design. I thought that was probably one of the highlights of the set for me was how they went about that. But the seating themselves and the like little control and like the vents that you see next to it, all of this detail here, all of this, all stickers. I mean, the entire thing. Like the board itself is printed, but the rest and like the seats, all stickers. But that's fine because it does look pretty awesome, and cool to have that iconic, that iconic area in the Falcon represented in such an awesome way. And then back here, I guess we've got like beds for the characters. I'm not sure if this is a thing in the Falcon. I'm sure it probably is. But I guess we will take Finn, for example, and we will just lay him down using one of the available studs, and he just pretty much goes right there. And then you've got this 2x2 brick, this like modified 2x2 brick here, which you have to kind of move out of the way if you do want to put the other minifigure there. I don't know why that Lego has that there obstructing the way, but I guess because we already have Rey in the cockpit, we can put Chewie on the next one. That must be amazing, sleeping next to Chewbacca. I know I would definitely not want to, but anyway, you can see that we do also, speaking of like what's near Chewbacca, you've got a little wrench clipped up onto the side there, and then you also have a little hatch, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this feature. You've probably seen it before on Millennium Falcons, using a very basic wall piece on the bottom of it there. You can take whatever minifigure you have left, and in this case we've only got BB-8 left, so you can put the minifigure inside. And I mean, of course, an entire minifigure can fit inside, but basically just drop them in there, and then the entire hatch can close right on top of them. And it doesn't look like BB-8 is really necessarily meant to fit in there because it didn't close 100%. So we'll try to get him out, and he's a freaking sphere, and it's impossible to grab this guy. But if we can get him out without breaking the set, gosh damn it, we'll put Finn in there, and it works perfectly fine, and it's very effective, especially for such an iconic element to the Millennium Falcon when they first did that in A New Hope. But yeah, so I guess we'll just stick BB-8 right there for now. But you can see that we do have a ton of interior detail going on here, and that interior detail, I'm not going to attempt to name it, but you can see it all right here, and it's all pretty much stickers, that all the detail you see, like this here, this is a sticker, these are both stickers, and they can rotate a full 360 degrees, I should mention, which is pretty cool. But yeah, then back here you do have a little a little canister that you can open up. There's nothing inside, but I guess it's pretty much meant to store their blasters. So in this case, we have like Han and Rey's blaster we can store in there. You can't obviously you can't fit Chewie's bowcaster in there, but you can fit those two little pistols and Finn's blaster as well. I'm not sure if it'll fit all three. It probably will, but yeah. So that's pretty much the way that works, and it doesn't look like it's going to fit Finn's blaster. So I guess we'll just pull that out and move on with the rest of the set. But you can see that we do have a crate back here, which I guess you can put Finn's blaster in there, and maybe just Chewbacca's bowcaster if you wanted to. So pretty much you have crap, you have a lot of a variety for where you can store your blasters and the rest of this set's accessories. But yes, and then you also have the boarding ramp, and the way this works is very basic. You just push it down, and or you can just pull on it, and the entire thing will come folding down. It's very basic, and you guys have probably seen this boarding ramp design before, but you can pretty much see it right there and how it works. But pretty awesome to have it there, and it's very simplistic though, so there's really not much else to say about it. But aside from that though, that's really it for the entirety of the interior interior of the Falcon, there's not a lot else going on aside from one thing that I almost left out, and that thing being you do have a control panel right here with a seat right there for what is pictured to be Han, but obviously I already have Han in the cockpit. The cockpit piece which won't freaking stay on, gosh damn it, stay. Thank you. And yeah, so this entire piece is all sticker and definitely very detailed and really awesome. The chair does rotate. The chair does not rotate a full 360 degrees, I should point out, because it is stopped by the control panel itself, obviously. But I'm all out of minifigures, so I have nobody to seat on that chair. But you can see you do have a 2x2 available space to put whatever minifigure you want. But yeah, aside from that though, that's really it for the interior of the Millennium Falcon. There really isn't a lot else for me to go over, and I pretty much covered everything. This is definitely the most this interior definitely has the most accessories and the most the biggest amount of detail that I think any Millennium Falcon has seen. And man, I just cannot speak today, and maybe that's probably because this is the first thing that I'm doing today, and I'm skipping breakfast to record this entire review. But anyway, yeah. But before I totally forget, like the moron I am, this entire hatch does actually open up, and you can slide out this entire plate, which has a couple of 2x2 available spaces for both minifigures. So pretty much the way this is supposed to work is, I guess, like the minifigure of your choice mans the bottom if you put him on this side of it, and then I guess if we get Finn out from the hatch that I left him in, he can man the top gun. And this is also a concept that I'm pretty sure has been carried over from previous iterations of the Millennium Falcon. But it's definitely a nice playability feature, and adds, for some great story to, the playability of the set, and obviously its general accuracy. So yeah, then you pretty much just take the minifigures once you have them all ready to go and slide them right back into place, and that's pretty much the way it works, and that's supposed to be the way they man the top and bottom guns of the Millennium Falcon, and that's the final feature of the set, and that's it for everything that this set has to offer. And I should mention, in terms of like folding up all these flaps, you do have to fold these two first. That's number one. And then you can go with that, and then you fold this up, and this, and then this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this one, and that one, and that one. And there you go. Aside from that, though, guys, that is it for the Millennium Falcon, for the new Star Wars trilogy, and for the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the box, instruction manual, extra pieces, and we'll wrap up this video. The box of the Millennium Falcon is pretty much the size you'd expect. It's a basic, standard size for a $120 set, but $150 set, a little bit questionable, of course. But yeah, on top here we've got Han Solo, sporting the actual size reference, and then we have the rest of the minifigures included with this set. And then on the back we have all the playability features that I just went over, along with a little graphic for some blueprints of the Millennium Falcon, all the accessories included with the set, and just like a ton of action shots of things that you can do with the set and scenarios that you can act out with the playability features. So yeah, pretty awesome though, and you can see the entire graphic is taking place on Jakku, which is an added bonus, I think, because new planet, man. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box though for the new Millennium Falcon. We get one big thick instruction manual for the Millennium Falcon, and the entire build comes in at a total of 159 pages, and it is a pretty easy build. It's only 9 bags, I should mention, 9 numbered bags, so it's a pretty fast build to say the least. And we have all the playability features that I just showed you that were on the back of the box too, and the same action shots that were also on the back of the box. And then on the toward the back here, we've got the entire minifigure render checklist of all the Force Awakens minifigures, and they all look amazing. Cannot wait to get to all these reviews and see these minifigures for myself. But yeah, then you have the entire lineup of Force Awakens sets right here on this graphic as well, which is pretty sweet. And then toward the very back of the instruction manual, we also have an advertisement for Lego.com/Star Wars with the new added posters and all the new Force Awakens stuff. And then we have an advertisement as well for for Poe's X-Wing Starfighter. So pretty awesome stuff. You even got a TIE Fighter in the background. And yeah, that's it for the first Force Awakens instruction manual. The extra pieces we get from the Millennium Falcon are not exciting at all. There's really nothing to be said here. I mean, you get an extra spring-loaded shooter missile, you get an extra little piece for a stud shooter, and I mean, aside from that though, that's really it. It's just a bunch of connectors, studs, 1x1 tiles, and that's really it. There's really nothing exciting here, unfortunately. I mean, you do get an extra pistol for the like gang member leader, but I mean, aside from that, that's really it in terms of extra pieces. I mean, this is really the only cool one that you actually do get. So yeah, pretty good though. I mean, for the most part though, guys, the new Millennium Falcon is excellent. I mean, obviously, just like I've already said a million times, it's very similar to previous iterations, but having all these new minifigures and just having it be a Force Awakens Millennium Falcon is just all I needed to get this set. So yeah, this Finn minifigure is amazing. But anyway, that's it for this review, guys, and my first Force Awakens review, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video.
What are those?
No, but seriously, guys, what are you holding? I mean, like, what year is it? Okay, guys, and there you go, the review on the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon, and hopefully you enjoyed this review, guys. It's my first of the 7 reviews. Gonna be cranking these out one a day, like I said, and the Poe Dameron's X-Wing Starfighter or possibly Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle are gonna be next. Have not decided which, still trying to get through this review. Gotta do all the editing and all that stuff to get this video out for you guys. But yeah, so this set, is it worth 150 bucks? I mean, there's definitely like a $20 markup there, because this set most likely would have been 130 just like the previous, I would imagine. But this is what it is, this is the price point, and this is the set that you get for it. And I mean, personally, if you don't have the Millennium Falcon, I mean, I think this is definitely a no-brainer. If you can't get it now, just get it closer to Christmas. I mean, that's when the hype is really going to be insane, when we're that close to the Force Awakens. So I mean, yeah, but aside from that though, guys, that is it for my first Force Awakens review. It's really exciting, and if you enjoyed the review though, or maybe found it informative, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below, and or your opinion down in the comments on the set, as either of which, any of which really does mean a lot and always goes a long way, especially with how much recording and editing goes into these videos. This is probably going to be like maybe 6 or 7 hours of editing after I finish this clip. But yeah, so you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, by the way. Links to all 3 of those are always down in the description below as well, and there I post all kinds of preview photos of upcoming minifigures that I'm making, such as I just finished the Fantastic Four, but I'm going to be getting to work on my Force Awakens minifigures as soon as I am done reviewing the sets. I already got to work on Rey like a couple months ago, but I mean, I'm really going to get it, to work hardcore on the Force Awakens minifigures when I'm done reviewing all the sets. And that also, I'm also going to be working on some Halo 5 Guardians minifigures soon. All the previews and all the cool stuff will be on there first, and that's why I always recommend it, because it's way easier to post over there than it is over here. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys, for the Millennium Falcon, for the new sequel trilogy. And I think I'm going to cap it there, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye. Articulated. Shit. This part. The box. Why? It is just a lot. Shit. You're not taking my hairpiece. But it's so useful.